Welcome to the Enlightrepreneurs podcast. My name is Justin Minot. I'm here with my business partner, Dave Gold.
Justin, good to see you. Saniel, great to see you.
Always a pleasure, even though I miss seeing you in person, Davey. I miss kicking you under the table. But we'll get there. And we're here with Saniel Bonder of the Human Sun Institute. He co-founded with his wife, doing beautiful work and bringing some beautiful light into the world. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing and what that actually looks like for you.
Well, like I said, going on 30 years now, I've been in the general mode of kind of the new wave of spiritual teachings that have been Eastern inspired, we could say, and are trying to adapt to the West.
Mm-hmm.
And our orientation from the beginning has been, let's see if we can democratize this stuff.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, it was only a few in any generation are ever going to get enlightened. And we found a way to make a fundamental awakeness, presence, integration of spirit and matter, material life, possible for a lot of people, such that they went through tremendous transitions that were stable, requiring no further seeking and so forth.
Wow.
Pretty cool, good results.
That's fun, yeah.
Very good. And at the same time, sure enough, bringing all that to the West and into, I would say, especially America, is pretty rowdy business. And
sure.
one of our main themes has been mutuality. We were talking about that with you guys the other day, or that kind of equality of our being, our existence, rather than the hierarchies of existentially superior teachers and sort of lower somehow students and disciples. And that's messy business.
Sure.
And then integrating and doing the developmental work with all of our stuff, everybody's baggage. Bring that into the mix. It's a wild west.
Of course. So, Dave, what has been your relationship to Saniel? How did you two intersect? Because you have very similar, different paths.
Yeah, and I don't remember how we first hooked up, but I know that Saniel came into my world in one of my iterations of whatever the hell I was doing before this iteration. And what I remember was I just knew, I liked them. I forget how we communicated. And then my friend Alex Stanilowicz, who's been a business partner in the past, he said, "Oh my God, you're talking to it's like I was talking to the Pope or something." And I was just like, oh, okay, so this guy is really, and I did some research, I thought, oh, he is a really established, well-respected spiritual teacher. And our past and also at the time that I met Saniel, I had just discovered, Julie and the Love Unimaginable. And so part of my transition from a traditional spiritual path was towards this human path, that so much of what I was looking for vertically in the spiritual realm to transcend the world, I was finding in the world. And Saniel had already that had been kind of foundation with Saniel and Linda for quite a while. So we started hooking up then. And then most recently, I just see such parallels of people who have a deep hunger, a deep love and a divine love and a human love and a love of the world. And it just feels like that wisdom is more and more being attracted to and pulled out and finding affinity in the ways of the world.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that tees up really well the next phase of your journey, Saniel. You're heading in a very different direction. How are you bringing this light, this spirituality, and what you've learned to the world in a really different way?
Well, part of what I discovered in the wild and woolly journey that many friends, people, Linda and I have worked together. Dozens of people became themselves not just teachers but transmitters, of an energetic that really helps people activate their own greater potential. I discovered, early on I was saying, oh my God, guru has become a 4-letter word. You can be any kind of guru. You can be a money guru, a sex guru, a tattoo guru, you name it. But if you're just a guru, it's like, whoa, what's that, man? And for some good reasons. And I've gone through a lot of, shall we say, purification and humbling. in the journey. There were things I was not seeing in my own shadow side that really contributed to issues and problems. So coming out of all that, I've moved into more of a mode of professional coaching. Linda and I are continuing to do the work we've been doing for years, seminars, one-on-one session work, and so forth. But I'm not only from my own choice or preference, but also in terms of, I just turned 70. Let's look at impact here. Let's look at legacy. I need to be talking to people who are already high impact, high responsibility, high developmental integration as much as possible, so that whatever I can help them maximize in their own presence and gifts is going to have an impact with a lot of people.
Sure.
So that's it.
And so you've chosen the entrepreneur route then. Why do you feel like entrepreneurs or the business community is an area where you can leverage impact even better that way? What about that?
Well, among other things, because entrepreneurs are buck stops here people. They're, if they don't do it, it don't get done. And if it goes wrong, they got to fix it. And there is an ownership of what we like to call our divinely human nature, as fully conscious in the divine side, if you want to call it that, as in the humanness. And to me, going along with what Dave was saying there, the division of the world into a spiritual and a material side, it's obsolete. It just ain't that way. I don't think reality is permitting us to continue that kind of
illusion,
fundamental division as if it were the foundation of everything. So to me, entrepreneurs, I'll just finish the sentence, entrepreneurs are impelled effectively by a calling of service to change the world for the better. I mean,
yes. So Dave, what about that resonates with you?
Yeah, thanks. I know that from working, that people like Saniel and I, who have been students, teachers, whatever the hell you call it, but have just been aspirants to higher wisdom, there's a unity that is just tantalizing, and that's intoxicating, and it's liberating. You get this higher unity, and you want more and more of that. But built right into the spiritual system, there's so much division, and Saniel hit two of them. One is just hierarchy. Okay, so you're dividing people, and so here you look at some radical unity, but you're using a very divisive, inherently divisive kind of methodology or paradigm to do it. And then the other one is just between the human and the divine. And I don't know Saniel's journey as well as mine. I said it was broken down mainly through love, romantic love. Just to me, I could no longer differentiate between what was spiritual and what wasn't spiritual. So I think what happens is that this transcendent unity that we're looking for, this transcendent non-duality that we thought we had to get out of the world because you could never have it in a dualistic world. Now the impulse, and it's just speaking through Saniel and all of us, but I mean, it's so clear when I find a brother on the path like Saniel, it's like, no, it's that we are drawn. It's I would say compelled. I feel compelled, and I think, Saniel's shaking his head. He can speak for himself. I feel compelled to take that same drive for unity and non-duality and non-separation into the world. And like Saniel, into the business world in particular, where it can really resonate out much further than my own imprint, my own footprint.
Yeah. I'll add to that. One of my, most of my teachers now, by the way, are business mentors. I mean, that's definitely the cutting edge for me. I got the spiritual stuff down. How to make a profit with this? Well, and why make a profit? So you can do more of it.
Right.
Follow the calling further. One of my favorite mentors is Mark Benioff, Salesforce.com.
Yeah.
His books, read his books. This guy has got his act together, and among other things, there's a deep humility of knowing that he doesn't know it all. And so, there are many different pieces to the singularizing that's going on. One of them, for me, that's extremely important is one of the other splits has been between spirit and body. And the notion that spirituality is somewhere, like Dave was saying, the transcendence is out there. Well, our orientation is very heart-based, but I like to say heart with a capital H. the lineage of transmission that I came through brings people into a deeper embodiment, especially the way we do it, where we're not setting up all these artificial divisions.
Yeah.
So
Go
to
ahead.
me, what I'm seeing is, I like Dave's word compelled. I feel that that greater nature, call it God, the Tao, whatever, I call it the heart with a capital H, is impelling us to come into all of these forms of singularity, unity, mutuality, and so forth, and is insisting on its own democratization, if you will.
And when I see this, it's interesting because this was just totally impromptu. We just said, let's get on. And I thought, hey, instead of you and me interviewing him, maybe you could, Saniel and I would just kind of share a chair here. I've seen this for a while, that recovering spiritual seekers have no place to land.
No kidding.
And so they just find, who knows what, they hang on. You're ambivalent about life, right? Because you spent half your time trying to get out. Now you're stuck back in. And I just feel, and this is one thing, Justin, I'm so grateful for you coming into our lives, or us coming into each other's lives, is that, we're talking entrepreneurial, but it is a place for people like Saniel and I, and for you, but other people who have heard the calling, follow their heart. And now this is like that paradigm's gone. That world is no longer there, and they don't know where to land. This is one place where I feel people can actually land. And that's one of the things I'm really grateful about the platform that you and I have built, and we're building with others, is that this is a place where recovering spiritual seekers who still have that love and aren't denying their experience, aren't denying that. Saniel and I don't think are throwing off the truth of what our hard-earned truths, what we've learned and what we've discovered. It's all integrated in there. It's not regret. It's not like, oh my God, what an idiot I've been. It's like, no, there's another step in evolution, and let's take it, and providing a platform where people like us can take the next step and find a platform that actually has relevance and, I think, deep spirituality in this moment.
Saniel, what's your comment on
that? I totally agree, and actually, I love that framing. People who have been deep seekers, or who are moved to become, wind up becoming invisible in their own country. You can't talk to your family about this, most people. Your friends, kind of, their eyes glaze over. And that's been people's experience for a very, very long time. But my sense is that part of that is the residual of the splits that are entailed, as Dave was saying. You've got to get out of life to get to the truth, and then you try to come back in, and where are your feet hitting the ground?
Right.
So to me, I think it's a very relevant point. Another thing that I want to jump right on the bandwagon with Dave on, part of the big message to me that confirms all this is especially my relationship with my wife Linda, which is, I used to say I'd be happy to join the most happily married man on the planet contest. Until I thought it through some more, and I realized nobody who knows that they're that guy would waste the time trying to prove it.
Right.
But on a bigger picture level, a guy named Rick Tarnas wrote a book called The Passion of the Western Mind back in the 90s. It was a big book at the time. He traced the entire evolution of Western intellectual history. Wound up in the epilogue saying the whole purpose of all this is to reconnect with our feminine ground. And he said, it's a shattering. It's going to shatter us. So this is a tremendously transformational shift that's underway. And we need that foundation of equality that everybody has to agree on. And then we need to work to bring in the new influences without them becoming the next holy ones at whose feet we have to bow all the time. I think that sort of says
yes.
it.
Yeah, well said.
So Justin, this is one time you can't get the microphone
back. This is great. I don't want it. Keep it rolling.
No, it's because it's just so interesting. And Justin's had a chance to witness Julie and me, and the love that we have in the banner. So you and I go toe to toe. We'll go into the marsh pit and see who comes out as the most happily married man. But it's just so interesting that for us that was our path. That was so much of our path. I'm so grateful, and it's so great to meet another, and 10 years ago, I'd have been ashamed. Oh, I sold out for love, because of those crazy, and you realize that people push love away. How unspiritual can you get that if I go into human love, that I'm selling my soul? I mean,
Right.
it's like, to me, this drives me nuts. But one of the things that I want to say, and Justin used to kid about kicking me under the table because we used to go do things side by side. And if I get out ahead of him, he'd kick me, and then I'd shut up, but he can't kick me. But one of the, he's saving him up.
Oh yeah, I got some kicks ready.
Stack of IOU.
Oh yeah,
we got. But we have a Commonwealth group, and this is where Saniel and I kind of reconnected again, which is Affinity Group. And I just would invite people who feel an affinity to what we're talking about. I think there's something natural that Saniel and I will be doing in this group. But just encourage people to, and we'll post it up on the site. But just encourage people who resonate with what we're saying to become a part of this. And I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if it'll be a formal. I don't know what the hell it'll be. But I know that I feel we've been brought together and we have a platform, and I want to use that platform as a way to coalesce people who are resonating with what we're saying.
Sure.
Did I get a kick, Justin, or not?
Oh no, you don't get a kick for that.
Oh,
You're saying, hey, let's bring more people who should be together. Well, oh shucks, that's
very,
don't
very,
make me.
very beautifully said. And to me, I'm working on a book called "The Sun in Your Heart is Rising," a call to help the light in everybody shine. And I'm aware that there is such a great call to help other people get plugged in who may not know what they're missing.
Yeah.
And then the forms that it might be available are so foreign that they can't get access.
Yeah.
So I love what you guys are doing. I wrote to you, I mentioned, as I've been getting into more of a focus on the entrepreneurship and networking and so on, I keep looking for networks where a great big chunk of me didn't fit.
Right.
And that's part of the beauty of, when I saw the name that you guys came up with, the Enlightrepreneurs, I said, okay, and I know Dave, this has got to be good. A thing that's very crucial here that I feel you guys are spontaneously creating form for is something that I've been, mulling over, like a Zen koan or riddle. How's this going to work? How do you get the in-depth work that individuals need to go through when you're not trying to do a system where there's one great guru and thousands of people are benefiting, but not intimately enacted? And another old friend of mine, who, by the way, I suggest you guys might want to get in touch with, David Lesser, is got an organization called Numina, and he just sent out a beautiful framing of this. I mean, I've been working on mutuality as an equal principle with waking. Our work has been known mostly as waking down in mutuality. All three of those principles equally important. Mutuality is not just a kind of social adjunct to everybody getting their private act together. And David has written a beautiful piece about mutual empowerment. And I feel, he's talking about small groups, and I feel that the way this is likely to show up more for more people is something about that mutual empowerment. And we've been seeing it in our work for many years now. The community itself becomes an enlivening field. So I'm very excited about what you guys are doing.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Well, I'm so excited to see how this all shakes down and how we can work together to bring this to the world, because you're doing some beautiful, beautiful work. So what does it actually look like for you? Give us, we got 1 minute here. How are you bringing this work to the entrepreneurial space? What does that actually look like practically for you to work with an entrepreneur and help them reach their highest potential and do more, have more impact in the world?
Thank you for asking. I was just thinking, what have I left out?
Yeah, there we go.
He's a really good interviewer. You notice he's really, really good at what he does.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I started out with a kind of theme in my coaching of work, what I call work-life balance and beyond. But, I was thinking, well, what's the beyond? Well, on one level, it's mastery of having both a work part of your life and a life part.
Yeah.
And so many people are struggling to make both of them sync, come together. Then I realized you've got to talk, actually. One woman I was talking with, as soon as I used the word leadership, it's like zing. She's so enlivened on the spot. So the way I'm looking at it now, and then particularly in the pandemic time, it's work-life, not so much balance as wellness. The wellness of a whole life in which both of those dimensions are fully activated.
We had a conversation this morning, and we ended up coming up. This was exactly this. So you're right on. You're right on. The word was work-life integration.
Yes, and I've used that word also.
Yeah.
But work-life wellness, mastery, leadership. As you become better at it, you begin to notice, what it's like, I hope most people do, of having mastered something. It becomes second nature. Well, then we move into the leadership, but the whole thing is framed in terms of a fundamental orientation to being here on the planet together and serving the greater good. So the leadership is not a leader of I'm the great one. It's the phrase, what does it call it? Servant leadership.
Right.
Been around for a while. I think we have an opportunity to take it into some new spaces.
Beautiful. Amazing. So I know we got to wrap up here. Saniel, thank you so much. Dave, if you want to jump out, I'll spend a couple more minutes.
That's great. Saniel,
Awesome.
I have something else coming in, but it's great to see. This is I really enjoy being on the other side of the microphones. So I'm going to take my leave of you two, and then I'll hook up with both of you soon.
Sounds good.
See you at 3, Justin. Thank you.
All right.